Hey guys, what's up? So in this video, I wanted to run you through how you can get new clients with lead magnets and how you can use lead magnets in 2024. So I'm not going to give you specific examples of lead magnets just because I think if I just give you templates or things like that, then it doesn't cause you to think about what you can actually do. Whereas with this, I just want to give you some ideas of how you can go about using it or what even is it in the first place, and why it's so important in 2024 to be able to actually land more meetings and close more deals essentially. So um, lead magnets, right? What is a lead magnet? A lead magnet is basically something that you create that you can give away for free that allows the prospect to experience your service in a frictionless way. So think to yourself, what can I give away for free that allows the prospect to experience your service in a frictionless way? And what I mean by frictionless is they don't have to download it, they don't have to fill out a form, they don't have to do anything other than the minimum, the maximum you want them to do is click on a link. Other than click on a link, they shouldn't have to do anything else, right? That's like the maximum. The least friction is just someone saying yes in an email, right? And it's pre prompt prompted reply that you can just click yes and it sends. You just want them to click one time. That's all you need to do. That's frictionless as possible, which gets them to experience your service, right? And then the other thing is, what can you create that is highly valuable to the prospect that is easy to fulfill? So what I mean by this is if you create something that is incredibly valuable to the prospect, but you're also having to take half an hour every single time you make it, it's incredibly difficult to scale. Now, if you were to do that for a very select number of prospects that you really, really want to work with, that could work, right? And that could be incredibly valuable things to them, right? So the way that you might figure out how valuable that is to them is, right, figure out what are you trying to get to? What is their desired outcome, right? What is their desired result? Where are they at right now? What of all of the steps in between for them to get from A to B? What are the components of the process? And then break each one of those things down. So let's take cold email as an example. And I know Eric Nowosowski made a video on this recently, and I got the inspiration from it because I wanted to give my own 2 cents on understanding lead magnets and what has worked for us in terms of doing lead magnets, which is basically break down the process. So let's just take cold email as an example. With cold email, right, you're trying to get the goal and desired outcome is you're trying to book them more meetings and ultimately help them close more deals, right? So book more meetings is what you're really trying to do with qualified leads. So every aspect of that, you'd have setup, you'd have the list building, you'd have copywriting, you'd also have enrichment within that list as well to make sure that it's personalized, targeted, etc. You'd have the copywriting side, and then you have the managing of the campaigns, and then you'd have inbox management, you'd have follow-up, you'd have automations to make sure that they're showing up, in for the actual meeting itself. And then if you really wanted to add even more value around it, it's like helping them with the sales side of things, sales scripts, assets, like all of that stuff, right? So each one of those is a component that makes up the process that then helps them the prospect get from A to B. Their desired result is more meetings, but their current situation is they're not getting enough meetings, right? And the vehicle that they're going to take is called email. And in that vehicle, it's made up of all of these different components, including the setup, the list building, the copywriting, etc., right? So if you wanted to break down what could be a lead magnet, right? Obviously, your service is helping them. If you're doing like a done for you, done with you, your service is helping them get from A to B. But the lead magnet could be a component of that you break down and create that helps them in that particular step. So one of the most successful ones that I've got in this business is lead lists, because it costs people money to create a lead list, right? If they want to do it, they have to either scrape, they have to understand filtering systems, they have to do all of that stuff. They either pay someone else to do it or they buy it from like a third party database, etc., etc. It costs money, it takes time to do it and to build it targeted. And a lot of people also don't know. And it's also just very annoying to do unless you do it consistently and regularly like we do. It's annoying to do because you have to you have massive spreadsheets. You have to organize the data. You have to find the email addresses, verify the email addresses, scrape things, like all of that stuff. And a lot of owners that I talk to, or people in sales and everything like that we talk to, they just don't want to deal with that process. It's just annoying. So if you create a list that is very similar to the prospects that they target already, then they're going to be interested in what you do, right? They're going to be interested. So what that particular example is, we're taking that part of the whole process, which is building the lead list and creating a lead list for them. But then now, obviously, they've got that lead list. What are they going to do? They need to write the copy. Have they got the setup properly to actually send out emails? The copy needs to be good. The lead magnet that they use needs to be good. Like, there's all of these different components. So just giving them one thing, but then they're taking it and going, okay, this is great. And now this has allowed me to experience your service, but what do I do next, right? And then that's what's going to engage them. That's what's going to spark curiosity for them to then take the next step to book in a call or to actually like have a conversation with you, right? And that's literally what we frequently have on our own sales calls. People are like, yeah, I thought the list was good. I was intrigued by what you guys do, so let's have a chat about it, right? It's really as simple as that. So you want to make sure that you're giving them something valuable, and that's the other thing, important point that I need to make here, which is if you create something that is not valuable, the whole thing is they will literally experience a shit part of your service. So if they're experiencing a shit part of your service, they're not going to want to like know any more about what you do or anything like that. So you want to make sure that the thing that you actually send them across is super valuable and super helpful to them, but you need to work backwards and understand what are their pain points or what are their things that they're struggling with, and then work from there, right? So that's something really important. If we sent across a lead list that was nothing to do with who they're targeting, then it's not going to work. But if we send them a lead list that is literally like a really good breakdown of who they're targeting, then it gets them to experience our service and be like, oh, this is actually pretty decent. That is like instantly you framed it as they are pretty decent at what they do, right? And you've shown them, not told them, you're not saying I'm making a promise of like, we'll get you this many leads, we'll do all this stuff. You're just showing them, hey, this is what we can do. And that's the goal with the lead magnet. It's a kind of subtle way of showing, hey, this is what we can do, and getting them to experience that thing that you do for free, right? And the next part of it that's really important, which I obviously touched on here, is so the highly valuable part, but also easy to fulfill. Now, for us to create a lead list, it actually literally takes 2 minutes for every prospect that we respond back to. And I'm not going to go into details of how we do that process because that's what we do for getting clients, but it takes 2 minutes to fulfill, right? For each individual one, because obviously to create a lead list, you can't just make one time. It can work like that if you segment your list of who you're targeting, but it doesn't necessarily work all the time. So you have to create it each individual time, but it doesn't take very long. We have like a system in place to be able to export it very quickly and kind of send it across to them. So that's even from our side, that's not the easiest to fulfill, but it's high value, but relatively easy to fulfill. What would be easy to fulfill is obviously creating a video or a guide or something that you can then send to them. But the important thing with this is you cannot just create like something that's like meh. It has to be really, really good. So just keep that in mind. So that's really what I wanted to cover, is just understanding how to think about this. Look at their desired result. Look at their current situation. What is the vehicle that you're helping them get to that with? It could be social media marketing. It could be ads. It could be this, that, and the other. It could be so many different things. Break down each component of that a part of the process, and then figure out what are some of the most valuable things. Another lead magnet that we could do is we could quite literally we could write the copy for them and say, hey, here's the copy, or here's some ideas for lead magnets, etc., etc. So there are different ways and different parts of the different components of that process that you can use and create for a lead magnet, and then you can send that to them, right? And the way that this would work is in the initial email, you offer a lead magnet to them, or it could be in the initial email, it could be in the follow-up email, you offer them, hey, I made this thing, it's helped this business and this business do this, would you like to see it? And then they're like, yeah, sure, why not? And then you send it in the follow-up email, right? So that's how it works. So I hope this video was useful, just give you an understanding of how lead magnets work, how we think about it, and then how you can also think about it as well. So if you need help with done-for-you services, click the link below, one of the links below, book in a call, and we can chat about it and go from there. So yeah, thanks for your time. See you in the next one.